The race to save endangered species is real. Scientists estimate that dozens go extinct every day. By the middle of the century, as much as 30 to 50% of all species could be on the path to extinction. We have teamed up with the Center for Biological Diversity, a national nonprofit conservation organization. The center's amazing attorneys, scientists, and activists work around the clock to save species from extinction, from wolves and sea turtles and polar bears to birds, fish, and plants, mussels, and insects. All species, great and small, deserve a shot at survival. Over the past 30 years, the center has protected more than 700 endangered animals and plants and more than 500 million acres of habitat. Through our alliance, every game played will advance the center's mission and help increase awareness to the vital need for action to save the wild. Find out how you can help the Center for Biological Diversity win for wildlife. You can get an exclusive, free, game-changing specialty card for Endangered at www.biologicaldiversity.org/game.
Hello everybody, welcome back to the table. My name is Devin.
And I'm Liz.
And we are Board Game Hype. Board Game Hype. And today we are looking at the 1 to 5 player game. We are reviewing Endangered by Grand Gamers Guild. This was not a prototype. This is a copy sent to us by Grand Gamers Guild. Thank you very much. We really appreciate it. This is ages 10 and up and 60 minutes. I think my wife over here is going to read a little flavor for you first.
I would love to. The March of Progress has threatened the survival of many animals.
Bad. Bad for the environment. Continue.
Endangered is a cooperative game where you must work together as conservationists trying to save a species from extinction. While dealing with complex immediate hazards that threaten your species, you must also convince influential ambassadors to pass a resolution protecting the animals so that they have a chance at long-term survival. It's a tricky balancing act that will illustrate the complex challenges conservationists face in trying to protect our vulnerable friends.
Oh, I'm going to tell you right now, we played this game probably, twice now?
Yes.
Both times, we were just stressed out of our mind. It was
so stressed. I felt so bad for the little animals.
I know. So that goes, let's go right into how the game plays, a little bit of the setup. So as you're looking here, we got the board here. It's actually double-sided, which I'll show in another shot because I want to reset this. But you can see that we have little tigers up here, and what you're going to be doing is, these are the ambassadors. You're going to be wanting to play influence, which are the little green cubes, on these ambassadors, and once you do that, you flip those over and they actually show you your objectives.
Yes.
And that's kind of how to win the game, is you want to flip those over and then win that at the end of the round. You have a lot of different characters to choose from, so each player is going to grab one character of their choice with the 3 dice, the cards, and then a little turn tracker, and then like a roll or something you want to do throughout the game. Then everything else you see here, there is actions on the side that you're going to play cards. You're going to play cards down with the actions
to create more
actions and whatnot. So that is a little brief of it. Do you want to go into more details?
Yeah, absolutely. So once you've picked your character and kind of like starting around what you're going to do, is first thing is actions phase. So you're going to roll your 3 dice. One of the caveats that makes this game cooperative is once you roll your 3 dice, if another player wants to play on an action that you have already played on, if it's 2-player, their dice actually has to be 2, like the quantity 2 higher than the number on your dice. So that is something we had to strategize on. Yeah,
so for right now, since I roll a 3, the next player would have to roll a 5 or higher in order to place their dice on that action. And she rolled a 5.
So you would have to do that in order to play that action. So that is one way that it's cooperative. So once you've used your 3 dice, you've played your 3 actions, then what you're going to do is called the offspring phase. So for tigers, this is a little bit unique. So you're going to roll the offspring dice. The number you need to roll in order to create an offspring is based upon the number of mating pairs you have.
You take the mating pair +1, and then you have to roll less than it.
Yep. And then you go into the destruction phase. That's something that's unique for each scenario. So you'll roll the destruction die, and then that will determine where you're going to put a destruction tile. And then your impact phase, finally, you're going to flip the top card of the impact deck. So the impact deck is primarily negative, I would say. It is rare that it is positive, but in the cases it is wildly valuable.
I did find that the tiger side was a little less positive than the otter side. I feel like there were a lot more persistent impacts that were good for us on the otter side.
I would agree,
but then the oil spill was really bad.
Right, so I think it balanced out really well. Then once you get through that, you're gonna have an upkeep phase where you draw a card. The other player will go, and then you're gonna move to the next year, reset, get all your dice, and kind of go again. So.
And you're gonna go, since we have 2 players, we're gonna go up to the 8th year, and then if you're gonna 8th year, you're gonna check to see if you've won.
It's called a voting phase.
A voting phase, yeah. You're gonna check to see if you've won the vote, essentially.
Yeah, so 4 ambassadors. So average game is 4 ambassadors. You can play easy, which the goal is 3. Advanced, the goal is 5.
Oh, no.
So we are not considered advanced at this time.
No.
I don't know if we ever will be, but that is kind of a brief overview of the game.
Yeah, and so, like we said, the game plays like that up until 8 or 9, and then you're done. Very stressful.
Yes.
Most of the time we played. Very good experience, though.
Very good experience. Very much relies on cooperation between the
Yes.
partners. If you do not know how to work in a team, I think we kind of described it as doing an escape room. It's fun when you're done, but at the time,
you're
it's
just like,
it's not always the most enjoyable activity.
Yeah.
So, but a really cool experience.
Yeah, so I think that's the overview, a little bit of how to play. We're going to jump right into the review then, make it short and sweet. We're going to start with our review system, which is we rate on a scale of 5. So 5 being games that we will always fight for, want to be on our table. 4 being games that are pretty good and we enjoy playing them. And we are going to sometimes fight for those.
Yes.
3 being it's an average game. We're happy to play, but we're not going to be going out of our way to go do that. 2 is like a little bit less than average. It's like it's okay. We don't want to play, but we will play.
Yep.
And then anything below that is just a game we definitely, it's not for us. We don't want to play.
Probably not staying on the shelf.
Not staying on the shelf, most likely. So, the first point of emphasis we go through is components and accessibility. For me, I gave this a 4 out of 5. I think it actually, I was surprised how good the setup was for such a game that was very intimidating looking. And when we set it up, I was like, okay, that's really not that bad. And I love the little tiger meeples.
Yes,
are so
they're
adorable.
So cute.
And then the otter meeples as well. And I think everything here we got, what am I gonna say?
Linen finish.
Linen finish. So yes, props to you for that. I think overall the components, they did a very good job with what they were given.
Nice. I actually rated it a 3.
Okay.
So I thought overall it was just really solid. You know, there were parts of the components that maybe like I think could be improved. And I think maybe that's from the accessibility standpoint. You need a lot of space to play this game. This is not a game that you could easily pull out if you are traveling, if you were at a coffee shop, whatever,
True.
XYZ.
Yeah.
This game it's got a footprint, and that's okay.
Yeah.
But just from an accessibility standpoint, it just kind of decreases a little bit. So, yeah.
That's interesting. I didn't think about that with the space because we're so used to playing with bigger spaces.
I do love the components. I mean, tiger meeples, you can't. Otters.
Yeah. So cute. You want to move to the next one?
Yeah, absolutely. So then we're going to go into theme and story. So I rated this a 5 out of 5. You were absolutely
oh my gosh,
enveloped in this theme. You are very much your character.
You feel like you're trying to protect these animals.
You do. Like, you understand the stresses that conservationists go through, which is the whole point of the game. So 100% 5 out of 5.
Yep, 5 out of 5 for me. Theme and story was wonderful. I felt immersed the entire time. And even when I was playing the characters, I felt like that character.
Yes.
You know, I didn't get to play the lobbyists, but I played a few of the others, and I was like, I felt like
very
this
much
person.
The actions are targeted to like support that what you think that person would do.
Yeah, I think they did a good job there. Our third point of emphasis is artwork and graphic design. I probably rated this higher than you. I gave it a 5 out of 5. I thought everything was visually appealing. I knew exactly what to do with the iconography. And then if not, I believe they had a good reference in the rulebook as well. So for me, 5 out of 5.
Yeah, mine was a 4 out of 5. I really liked it. My number one thing that I loved about the way that they did artwork and graphic design was for your player. Your player has a color, essentially. And all of your stuff is that color.
Yeah,
so the philanthropist, for example, everything is purple. So you're like, okay, I need all the purple stuff. So easy for setup. Yeah, otherwise, the only challenge I think we had from an artwork graphic design perspective was seeing the ambassador cards from a distance just because of the footprint of the game, but that's not anything you can do. Like that's
right.
There's nothing wrong with that. That's just one of those things.
And then who's to say we could always put them up here too, but
we could.
That's where the space comes in. You need a little bit more space than normal. So move on to the next one.
Okay, so then we're gonna go into gameplay and mechanisms. So this, I rated a 4. I really, really enjoyed it. When we were playing, I think there may have been a time or two we
probably
might have house ruled a little strongly. We're gonna call that. We're gonna call that a strong house rule.
Strong house rule.
But overall, I thought it was great gameplay. I loved that for a game that I was like, oh man, this looks pretty complex. It didn't feel like it took a long time.
Yeah.
Like it didn't feel, sometimes games kind of feel like slow, like kind of a grind in the middle. I never felt that with this.
I think you were so like into the immersion of the experience that you were like, you didn't feel like it was long. Because,
no. Like it was like, oh my gosh, we're already on round 5. We only have 3 rounds left.
Right.
Like.
Yeah, so I gave it a 4 out of 5 as well. For that same reason, I thought everything was great. The only reason I didn't give it a 5 was because it did stress me out quite a bit. And like, it's hard to knock that because it is part of the experience.
Yes.
But from a gameplay perspective, I was like, there was times where, shoot, you know, there was luck and I couldn't do it. And I was like,
some of the dice rolls, you had a game where you had some terrible dice rolls.
Oof, really bad. But that's the only reason. I mean, otherwise I would give it a 5 out of 5.
Absolutely. So then
the next one is experience and feelings. That's how you enjoyed the game. Did you have fun? Would you play it again? This one I'm 5 out of 5, but the caveat here is you probably don't want to play this if you're looking for a casual game night. You want to play this when you want to have an experience and feel like you're protecting the animals, because like we had mentioned multiple times, your blood pressure is going to go up. You're going to feel like you want to protect these animals. And so it's a 5 out of 5, but just know that going into it, you're probably going to be stressed. You're not going to be as like happy-go-lucky the whole time, because there's some times where you just don't want to play anymore. For sure.
So I actually also rated this. I had a 4, but I feel like it's a 5.
Yeah.
And I really debated because I was like, how do I add that caveat? Because there was both games. We hit round 4 and 5, and I was like, we're otters. The tigers are dying. The otters are dying. It's over.
Yeah.
It's over. And then we managed to come back. We managed to win the game both times. But very much, very, very close by the skin of our teeth. Very much though, like a great experience.
And that goes back to the balance. Joe Hawkins did a great job with the balance. So, yeah, 5 out of 5, 4 out of 5 for you. Yeah. That means our last piece. You go.
Oh yes. So, did this game play well at 2 players?
I'm gonna say yes. Again, with the caveat that it probably plays better at multiplayer, because there was a lot of times where we could have used a 3rd person to help out with certain situations.
Yes.
And so, yes, I think it plays fine, but just know going into it, again, that it's probably going to be more stressful than if you had multiple people.
Yes, I think looking at both of ours, I would echo that. And there's a balance mechanism within the amount of years that you get to go through. The more players you have, the less years you have to complete the objectives. So that balance mechanism is there. But I definitely think that a 3rd or 4th person, just to have those special skills, would have been wildly valuable.
Right, exactly. So that will put my hype rating at a full 5 out of 5.
Same.
Really?
Yeah, because mine is,
that'd be a 5 out of 5. So this is another game that goes into the hyped up. Again, if you want to be stressed and have a very good experience, it's hyped up.
If you need a relaxing activity, this is not the one.
Yes. So that has been a review of Endangered by Grand Gamers Guild. My name is Devin.
And I'm Liz.
We are Board Game Hype. And how are we going to end this one?
Well, we're going to do like the tigers do.
Do like the tigers do. I'm going to go this way.
I'm going to go this way, because tigers are territorial.